Going on YouTube? It's Drama D here. Just releasing an update video. Things have been disastrous lately for the reef tank. Still battling dinos. Just wanted to share with you a few things that have changed as far as the treatment process, some things that have happened with the tank, and just give you an overall update. So yesterday morning I woke up, the dinos were back 100-fold, way worse than ever. I had gotten rid of them for about 4 days, and I thought I was on the winning edge, or I thought I was winning the battle. And long story short, it was just playing with me, and it showed its ugly head again. So the treatment I was using before was I installed a UV filter. I had raised my phosphate levels up from 0 to about 1.2. I had turned the skimmer off for a week. Let the nitrates come up to about 20. After a week of leaving the skimmer off and raising the phosphate levels, I ended up turning the skimmer back on just for CO2 and air exchange in the tank. Not so much to remove skim mate. I mean, I had it pulling out pretty dry, not so wet. But turning the skimmer back on reduced my nitrates from about 1.2 to 0.4 to 0.5, which I'm fine with. So I was doing that, and I let the glass dirty up to give less surface area for the dinos to attach themselves to. I let the whole tank get dirty, and then the tank started to clear up. It was clear for about 4 days. Dinos reduced 80%, so I decided I was going to do a 10-gallon water change, because I hadn't done a water change in about a month. So after I did the water change, then the dinos showed back up. So I checked my phosphate levels recently, and they're at 0.05. Nitrates were 4.0. I did the high range test kit, and I did the low range, and they're both showing up at 4.0. So long story short, try to make this quick. Buddy contacted me, asked me how the dinos were doing. I told him they're still here. So he asked me how much flow I had going through my UV, and I told him I had it plumbed in through a manifold. I'll show you guys that right here. So I have a manifold here built into the return. I know I should run probably a separate pump to the manifold, but I didn't do that. If I could do it again, I would run a separate pump on the manifold. But anyways, I have the UV sterilizer hooked into the manifold off the return, and I was running about, I don't know, rough estimate 300 gallons per hour through it, if that. And then he asked me the position that the UV filter was in. At the time, I had the UV filter mounted in the horizontal position, and I had the inlet coming in through the top and the outlet coming in through the bottom. Well, after talking with me and explaining to me, he said that you can keep it in the horizontal position, but you want the inlet coming in through the bottom and the outlet going out through the top. This will prevent air from getting in the chamber, and it'll allow full contact with the UV filter, as opposed to the inlet coming in from the top and draining through the bottom. You're creating a waterfall effect, so the water is not getting into contact with the UV as long. Or because I had it mounted in the horizontal position, maybe only the water on the bottom was getting in contact, and there was an air bubble at the top possibly. So by mounting the UV in a vertical position with the inlet coming in from the bottom and the outlet going out through the top, I can guarantee there's no air in the UV sterilizer, and I could slow the flow down, allowing more contact time, and making sure I'm getting as much contact time with the UV as possible. Now you can keep the UV horizontal, but you need to make sure that the inlet is coming in through the bottom and the outlet is going out through the top. Now my dumbass, excuse my language, had it in the horizontal position, coming in from the top, exiting through the bottom. It was doing the waterfall effect. So I have changed that yesterday. I now have it mounted in the vertical. The clear tubing is coming in from the bottom, still hooked up to the manifold. It is exiting through the top. I chose to put the wires up top. That little plastic zip tie thing is just there to ensure that it stays in the vertical position and does not tip over or fall into the sump. I know it's not pretty, but due to my space limitations, this is where I chose to mount it. So I changed it that way, and because I did it that way, I was able to reduce the flow to, I'd say, 90 to 100 gallons per hour, allowing more time for the water to pass through the UV, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying this is how you're supposed to do it. This is the way that me and my buddy have talked about things, and I have decided to go about running the UV. I had it hooked up incorrectly, in my opinion, and after realizing my mistake, I have adjusted and made changes. Now, I'm not saying this is the way to do it. It's the way I'm doing it. Last night, I went ahead and turkey basted the rocks and got as much of the dinos into the water column as possible. And this morning, I must say, the tank has improved about 70% compared to yesterday. Now it's still early, and in about 3 hours from now will be the peak light time on this tank, and we will see how the tank looks. That's usually around the time. Full intensity is when the dinos look their worst in the tank, but telling you from what it looked like yesterday to what it looks like today, I'd actually say it's probably an 85% increase, to be honest. So another thing that happened with the tank is the Nero 5 pump. So I have these little nitrite snails, or what are they called? The ones that go on the sand bed, kind of scavenger snails. I forget the name, Nazareth snails. Yeah, they like to get lodged in the back of the Nero 5. Basically, it's happened 3 days in a row. Yesterday morning, I woke up, couldn't sleep, came out, looked at the tank. The pump was off. The Nero 5 power was off. I pretty much thought it just burnt up. Well, I come to find out, I found a Nazareth snail wedged in there. I cleared it, had to take the whole pump apart, unplug the pump, resync it to the AI app, and I finally got the pump back on, working again. But all night yesterday, there was no inner power head in the tank. I mean, there was a return flow, but it reduced the flow throughout the whole tank, plus the dino issue, reducing the oxygen. And while I was noticing the Nero 5 pump not working, I looked down and found my, I don't know, I'd say he was at least 5-6 years old, premium snowflake clownfish. I got it from Bob in Arizona. He's a breeder. Got him at Macna here in San Diego. He had him for 4 years. And I found him floating in the center of the tank, being attacked by hermits. And it was a big blow, man, because that fish was special to me and my wife. I've had him for a long time in several systems, and he's gone now. So my wife wanted me to lie to her and tell her it was not the Macna fish, that it was, the other fish. I actually had a pair of them, and the one had jumped out of the system, and I didn't notice for 2 days, maybe 2.5 years ago. So I replaced him with a black ice clown, which is still in here, but he's lonely. He misses his buddy. And he's just chilling in the back. He doesn't want to even come around me. So honestly, I can't tell you what happened to the clown. I did not dissect it. I'm not a scientist. I can't, you know, tell you what caused his death. I do know he did not have ick. I did not see any signs of heavy breathing or, you know, spots on him, brook or anything like that, velvet, anything like that. Right now, I'm chalking it up to the dinos, the power head being off, maybe lack of oxygen in the tank, and possibly a new program that I started could have had something to do with it. I'll explain that here in a second. I apologize for the lengthiness of this video, but I'm just trying to give you a clear update of what's going on and what I'm doing with the tank. So before we get into that, let's get past the clown. I'm upset about it, but it happened, and I'm sharing it with you just to let you, just to be straight up, you know, not beat around the bush. You know, I'm not perfect. I have experienced fish losses. I'm sorry that I have lost this fish. I'm sorry that he went through what he went through, and it is what it is. Let's move on. As far as the tank, so I was able to pick up a bunch of zoas, and I dipped them, and some of them weren't opening, and I wanted them all to open and kind of get established here on the sand bed before I went ahead and created the zoa island over here on the left. So far I have not had any coral deaths other than maybe a polyp of zoas that came loose from the frag plug and swept around and got sucked through the power head, which could have been a contributing factor to the clown dying, because I did find a zoa in the power head along with the Nazareth snail. Could have been a palitoxin or something. I don't know. We're just gonna skip past that. But the lights have been on now for 2 hours. Stuff's still opening up. The alk in this tank is about 8.3 to 8.4. Highest I've seen it is 8.5. Lowest I've seen it is 8.1. So I've been trying to maintain between 8.3 and 8.4 ideally. That's just where I've had pretty good success with the tank. The fungia plate here is starting to expand out. You can see it's got a nice green color with purple polyps. Acans are doing good. I think that's Captain America back there. Not real good with some of these names on the zoas. The undata that I had in the 150 was knocked over, laying on the sand bed for a week. I finally picked it up. It kept getting blown around in areas where I couldn't reach, and I didn't want to stick my arm in there. The blue polyp bird's nest was up here in the front. I moved him. He wasn't looking too hot when the dinos first broke out. I've been just on this tank, turkey basting, doing everything I need to do to try to beat this dino outbreak, and it is finally starting to recover. The gold purple head hammer back there, I am going to be moving over here next to the grape coral, just to prevent the tentacles from stinging the zoas or the acans. It's poor placement on my behalf. I'm going to put them over here. Little secret information, insider information, I did seal the deal on an Indo torch today. It's a short tentacle. It's a neon green with hints of rainbow hues in the tips. It's a pretty good deal from a local friend of mine, and I may be going to pick him up this afternoon, so stay tuned for a little sneak glance at that guy. This little blue acan down here was another gift. Came from a pest tank. It went through a thorough dip, scrubbing, trimming, very extensive dip in you know, pest removal of that coral. You can see the little dino hairs still in the sand, still present. Another little A-can there. I traded my 150 gallon. I just told the guy, or not the 150, a 220 gallon. I told the guy I'm not setting it up anytime soon. I'd like to see someone put it to use. Just give me a couple frags. He brought me this A-can, that A-can, that A-can, an A-can up top there, which I was more than happy to accept. So thank you very much for hooking me up with those frags, and I hope that tank is doing you well if you're seeing this. And I look forward to seeing it develop into a nice, beautiful reef. Moving on, the rainbow A-can is looking all right. Like I said, lights have only been on for a couple hours. Things are still opening. Things are not at their full potential. Right here I got the Nirvanas. They have probably doubled in size. Right next to them are some Rastas. Looks like I got an extra 1 or 2 polyps on there, real tiny, on the right hand side. Up there, it's either Fruit Loops or Tangerine. I think those are the Tangerine Dreams and those are the Fruit Loops. I don't know. Scrambled eggs are doing fine. Some Utter Chaos is up there. Down here, I don't know, Pink Diamonds, Goblins on Fire, Bam Bams, a Yoda. What else is in here? Pink Diamonds or Galaxies or something. Freaking. I'm got a brain fart right now as far as names, but you guys could see. The only ones that I think did not make it were the King Midases, which the King Midases are one of my most favorite Zoas. When I first got into the hobby, I had a huge colony of them. I just love the coloration on them. But there's a quick look at the tank. As you can see, the dinos are still present. Let's get on to talking about a new treatment program that me and a fellow local reefer that had the same dinos that I have came up with to combat this issue. He actually used the same program and actually beat it, and has been dino free for 8 months now. So figured I'd give it a shot. So basically what I'm doing is I'm dosing 1 milliliter per 10 gallons of tank water of hydrogen peroxide. That is dosed 30 minutes after lights are out every day. So in this tank I have an actual water volume of 30 gallons, so I am dosing 3 milliliters of H2O2 every single night, 30 minutes after lights out. What I've noticed I do, it's actually raising the pH a little bit throughout the night and the day. My average pH is about 8.2 to 8.3. I haven't seen it fall below 8.19 for the last few weeks, or actually the last week, because I've only been dosing it for a week and I've been checking pH. I don't chase pH, but I've been noticing my pH seems a little bit more elevated than normal. The next step in the treatment process is obviously scrubbing the rocks and turkey basting daily. The next thing I did was get a bottle of this Dr. Tim's Refresh. You guys can see that. So I dose 1 capful per 10 gallons, I think it is. I have 30 actual gallons. I only do 2.5 capfuls because I'm scared. It does say that it may harm snails or shrimp. I do have a coral banded shrimp in there, so I dose 2.5. The coral banded is doing great, does not seem to be affected at all by this product. But I dose this 2.5 capfuls every other day for 1 week. After that week is up, the next step in the process is to dose half dose. Now disregard the fresh water only. They sent me the wrong bottle. A new saltwater bottle is on the way. So I have a freshwater bottle. If anyone's interested, maybe I'll do a giveaway. Someone that's got a freshwater tank can put this to use. I didn't want to go through the process of returning and complaining, hey, I ordered all the saltwater stuff and you sent me a freshwater bottle. I just couldn't believe they sent it. Why would I order a bunch of saltwater stuff and then you send me a freshwater waste away? But that's another topic. Anyways, so after the week of the refresh, dosed every other day, I'm going to do a half recommended dose every other day for a week of this. But after being on the live stream last night, CJ was talking about this waste away and how it's he wouldn't recommend dosing this straight away after the refresh, which is basically a beneficial bacteria. He said that this may harm the beneficial bacteria, which makes sense. So I'm going to talk with my local reefer that has the same dinos that I had and use this program and see his thoughts on it. I might try it the week after the refresh and just go ahead and try it, and then if I don't notice a change, then I'll just do a whole nother week of refresh and then wait before I do the waste away. So just keeping it real, trying to let you guys know what I'm doing. So as of now, to battle the dinos, I am doing the excuse me, just getting over a cold. I'm doing the 1 ml per 10 gallons hydrogen peroxide. I have the UV sterilizer, 90 to 100 gallons going through it, coming in from the bottom, exiting the top. Get as much contact time in that UV as possible. This is a 15 watt UV on a 30 gallon system. Bit overkill, but hey, 90 to 100 gallons per hour going through the UV, trying to get as much contact time with that UV as possible. Daily basting the rocks, weekly scrubbing the rocks. Dr. Tim's refresh for 1 week, and then followed up by 1 week of waste away, half dosed. No water changes. Once the socks get dirty enough to raise the nitrate levels and or the phosphate levels higher than 1, I'll change them out. The skimmer is currently on, but skimming dry, not so wet. I actually need to pull the cup out and clean it. Basically it's on. I don't need to have it on. I don't even know if I need a skimmer for this tank. I could probably remove it completely. But I like the fact that it has, air exchange pros or whatever you call it. And just that, the nitrates, I do feed heavy. I feed heavy in, heavy out is my theory. Reefroids every other day with frozen on that same day. 1 cube of frozen, which I need to actually reduce now. Which reminds me, there is a new fish in here. I got him about a week ago. Good luck finding him. But just to share, he is a geometric perchlet. Very cool fish. I've had one in the past. I am looking for him right now. Awesome coloration. He's got the red and white geometric pattern. Kind of reminds me of like a miniature hawkfish, long-nosed hawk. Very cool fish. Seen him at the store. I think he was like 14 bucks. I've seen him there for months and months. Everybody just walking by him, ignoring him. So I said, you know what? I wanted a Tanaka's pygmy wrasse, but unfortunately I have not been able to find one. The price on them has gone up from, I don't know, they're like 75 bucks now. Maybe might be able to find one for 55 to 60, but nobody has them in stock. Nobody knows when they'll be back in stock. I've reached out to a couple people I know that can get fish wholesale and or bring in fish all the time, and it's on their list. If they see it, they're gonna pick it up for me. But I really wanted to get one of those and I couldn't find one. I keep seeing this guy at the store, and I've had one in the past. They're really cool, very nice design, so I just grabbed them up. He went in quarantine for 2 days. Actually, he was actually at the store for such a long time. I wasn't worried about it. I did not pop and drop. I did put him in this little 10-gallon over here for 2 days, and I was like, you know what, he's going in the tank. So other things, I know this video is getting long. Sorry guys if you're fast forwarding through. Sorry if I'm rambling. Smash that like button. But other things in the future for this tank that I've been thinking about, I'm currently dosing 2-part daily manually, and really I am dosing such minimal amounts that I am thinking about stopping 2-part dosing altogether. Right now I'm dosing 5 mils per day of both calcium and alkalinity, and then I'm doing about 10 mils every other day of magnesium. And it's such a small amount compared to what I'm used to. I can't really justify getting a doser, spending that much money on a doser for such little amounts. I know that once I add more stuff to the tank, you know, it's going to consume more, but I don't see this tank taking 90 to 100 mils a day of 2-part. I was thinking about maybe I'll get a nano calcium reactor, and then I was like, nah, you know, I mean, it'd be nice to have, but this tank is overkill already. I got so much I got an Apex on here, all the probes, I got, you know, the whole tank is overkilled. Oh, continue it, go all out. Nah. So, long story short, I've seen a few beautiful tanks, straight running Kalkwasser, and honestly, I've seen Kalkwasser in action. I've seen it in the ATO, I've seen it in a stirrer, I've seen a gravity fed system, those separately, and I'm thinking Kalkwasser, but I'm not going to be introducing it in the ATO due to the fact that summer's coming, evaporation rates are going to increase, my pH is already, you know, 8.2, 8.3. I want to say my threshold maximum is 8.6 on the pH, which makes me kind of want to steer away from the Kalkwasser because, you know, it's going to be such minimal amounts. I'm worried that I'm going to be hitting that roof threshold of 8.6. Dosing Kalkwasser. But I'm thinking about doing a diluted solution, slow drip. Just trying it out. Maybe eliminate the 2-part dosing altogether. I have a buddy local to me who has a caulk reactor. Great deal. Or it's got a stirrer in there. I think it's an Avast stirrer caulk reactor. And by simply adding that, I can eliminate the daily 2-part dosing. I'd have to probably monitor my pH and my alk a little bit more consistently. You know, Trident, I wish, but, you know, is it necessary? Maybe if I set up another one of these and, you know, plumb it into the same system, I can monitor both tanks. Maybe a little bit out of my price range at the moment. I think I'm fine without it, although it would be nice to have. Okay, I'm rambling, guys. Just want to say thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for the possible new torch. I think I might be going this afternoon to pick it up. although the tank is suspect, I'd hate to throw it in here and the dinos go all crazy and I lose like half the coral and a nice beautiful torch. But you know, I got the coral itch. I miss my 150. I miss my previous tanks. I miss having a beautiful lush reef. And I got the bug. I got all these zoas I gotta mount. The torch, you know, came about. A friend of mine asked me if I knew anyone that was selling any. I reached out, and sure enough, my buddy has 10 to 15 of them up for grabs. For local reefers only. Please don't contact me asking me to hook you up. I played the parrot this morning, the middleman, you know. He sent me a text, I sent it to him, you know, back and forth for about 2 hours this morning. In the end, I was like, you know, there's some real beautiful pieces, and I think I want one. And I was able to seal a deal on one. So big thanks to my local reefer for hooking it up there. And anyways, there's my update. Sorry for the ramble, 31 minutes long. If you fast forwarded, no worries, man. I just want to say thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks for everybody's support. Let's just keep it clean, keep it fresh. Let's help each other out. No need for all this fucking he said, she said, wah wah wah, crybaby fucking behavior. Let's just be a community of reefers and share, you know, share our experiences and what's worked for us, what's worked for you, what he's doing. We all got different systems. Nobody's tank is the same. I just enjoy the whole community when it comes together, when everybody stands strong, stands tall, keeps it real, 100, you know, constantly watching people's streams. Sometimes it's overwhelming. There's so many channels, so many new people, so many you know, old school guys, you know, putting out great stuff. It's like, who do I listen to? You know, I kind of just take it all in and just come up with my own little thing. I've been doing this for a while now, and I am still learning, and I am nowhere at the level that some of these guys are at. But I do like to share, and I like to watch, and I just hope that you guys enjoy this. I do have the filter on now, so you're getting kind of a look at what I'm looking at. It's pretty close. I'd say it's just a little bit more blue in my eyes. I got the orange filter on here. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching. Hit that like button if you haven't subscribed and you want to subscribe. If you didn't like this video, smash that thumbs down. No worries. Sorry if I'm an idiot and have no fucking clue. Excuse my language again. It's a great night. Big shout out to a few people that have helped me out. Just come to mind, local reefers, Danny, Brandon, Carlos, YouTubers, Calypso, K-Town, Rico. Not sure what's up with Billy Pipes, but I do watch his stuff too. I'm gonna stay out of that. Just gonna continue doing my thing. Don't judge me. If I make a comment on whoever's video, just, you know, it's just a comment, dude. Other reefers that I always see: Davis, Kevin, Click Clack, Chimp. Don't know you guys personally, but I always see you online. I enjoy talking with you. That damn angry owl got me faded last night. Sorry if I was a little bit rambling there off the deep end, talking about shitter gangsters. I apologize, but I thought it was funny at the time. Joey, you're awesome. I enjoy your humor and keeping it real. Everybody that I miss, I apologize, but you know, I appreciate all of you. Let's wrap this up. Have a good weekend. It's Sunday. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your reefs. Have a great work week coming up, and I'll see you on the next update. Thanks for watching.